Sometimes, the shadow messages your partner sends are their way of asking for space to heal. When words fail, shadow messages speak the language of the heart's hidden wounds. Behind every quiet moment, there's a shadow message waiting for someone brave enough to listen. A partner's hesitance is often a shadow message of uncertainty and fear, not indifference. To decode shadow messages is to understand the love your partner cannot yet express. Every withdrawn glance is a shadow message carrying the weight of unspoken emotions. Shadow messages reveal that love's journey is not just about closeness, but also about patience. Your partner's shadow message might be a silent plea for reassurance and safety. Even in distance, shadow messages remind us that connection still lives beneath the surface. Shadow messages carry the stories of hearts wrestling with pain, hope, and longing. When your partner's voice falters, their shadow message is often a fragile attempt at honesty. In love, the unspoken shadow messages often reveal more than the spoken words ever could. Shadow messages ask us to slow down and see beyond what is visible. Every shadow message is a whisper of love struggling to break free from fear. Sometimes your partner's shadow message is a silent, "I'm hurting," disguised as anger or silence. The beauty of shadow messages is that they reveal the vulnerability beneath the surface. To honor shadow messages is to honor the true, imperfect humanity of your partner. When your partner pulls away, their shadow message is often a call for deeper understanding. Shadow messages teach us that love requires not only presence, but also deep listening. If you listen carefully, shadow messages reveal the unspoken dreams and fears your partner holds. A partner's shadow message is a mirror reflecting the parts of themselves they are still healing. Love grows stronger when we hold space for shadow messages without judgment. Sometimes shadow messages are the only way your partner knows how to express pain. Every shadow message is a delicate thread woven into the fabric of your shared story. When silence fills the room, shadow messages fill the heart with quiet truth. Shadow messages are the language of wounds that are still too raw to speak aloud. Behind every withdrawn touch is a shadow message yearning for comfort and reassurance. Your partner's shadow messages are invitations to deepen your connection, not reasons to withdraw. Listening to shadow messages means loving the parts your partner fears to show. Shadow messages are the sacred space where love's deepest wounds and greatest healing meet. Every pause in conversation holds a shadow message of reflection or unspoken truth. Your partner's shadow message may be wrapped in frustration, but it's always a call for care. Shadow messages reveal the fragile beauty of love that is trying to survive the storms. To love fully is to recognize the shadow messages even when they make us uncomfortable. Sometimes your partner's shadow sends a silent promise to try again even when it's hard. Shadow messages hold the keys to empathy, unlocking doors we didn't know existed. When you hear the shadow message, you hear the real heart beneath the surface, calm. Shadow messages show us that love is not just about joy, but also about navigating pain together. Every shadow message is a chance to grow closer, to understand the unseen parts of your partner. In relationships, shadow messages are the hidden threads connecting two imperfect souls. Sometimes, the loudest love is whispered in shadow messages. Your partner's shadow message is a fragile hope wrapped in silence and distance. To decode shadow messages is to embark on a journey deeper than words allow. Shadow messages are love's way of asking, "Will you stand by me even when I hide?" When your partner seems distant, it's their shadow message telling you they're still fighting inside. Listening to shadow messages requires courage to face the truths we sometimes fear. Shadow messages reveal that love's path is rarely smooth, but always worth the journey. A partner's shadow message is a silent bridge, connecting pain to healing. Every shadow message holds a secret longing to be seen and understood. When Love falters. Shadow messages carry the fragments of a heart trying to mend. Shadow messages are the quiet signals reminding us that love means more than words. Your partner's shadow message is a soft cry for kindness in a world that feels too hard. To hear shadow messages is to witness the sacred struggle of love in its rawest form. Sometimes love speaks loudest through shadow messages that echo in silence. Shadow messages ask us to hold space for vulnerability even when it's hard to bear. Sometimes the loudest words in a relationship are the ones never spoken, those shadow messages hidden between glances and silence. When your partner's eyes look away instead of into yours, it's a shadow message. No one else sees but you. In every quiet sigh, every paused reply, the cracks in your partner's smile carry stories they're afraid to tell. Not all love is shouted from rooftops. Some lied in whispers, shadows, and unseen spaces. Have you ever felt your partner's distance as a silent scream? That's their shadow message. Behind every argument, there's a hid truth begging to be understood. The shadow message beneath the noise. Sometimes, your partner's silence is louder than their words. It's the language of their heart's shadows. Watch closely. The way your partner avoids your gaze speaks volumes you never learn to listen to. Every subtle touch, every withdrawn hand is a coded message from the shadow of your partner's soul. Love isn't just what's said. It's what's carefully left unsaid in the shadow between two hearts. When your partner steps back, they're not leaving. They're speaking from the shadows of their fears. A partner's anger often hides vulnerability. It's their shadow message begging for safety and understanding. Sometimes the loudest cry is the one hidden in quiet despair. When your partner stops sharing dreams, their silence becomes a shadow message of a lost hope. The space between your partner's words can be a chasm filled with shadowed longing. In every missed call and unanswered text, a silent story unfolds. Listen to the shadow message. Shadow messages don't come with neon signs. They come in subtle shifts and whispered hesitations. If you feel your partner drifting, it's not absence. It's a shadow message you're invited to decode. Your partner's distance is often a shadow cloak shielding their deepest fears from the light. In the quiet moments, your partner's shadow messages reveal the truths their heart cannot voice. When trust fades, it leaves behind shadow messages, echoes of pain your partner can't yet heal. Behind every forgotten promise, there's a shadow message of regret and silent apology. The most profound conversations happen not with words, but with the shadow messages beneath them. Your partner's shadow messages are not walls, but windows into. Don't mistake silence for peace. Sometimes it's a shadow message of storm clouds brewing inside. Every hesitation in your partner's voice is a shadow message, wrapped in vulnerability. Behind the partner's anger lies a shadow message of unmet needs and hidden hurt. Your partner's shadow messages might be confusing, but they are a map to their heart's true condition. When love falters, shadow messages become cries for connection. Are you listening? A partner's shadow message is a language written in glances, pauses, and the space between words. Shadow messages often hold the key to healing, if only we choose to unlock them. Your partner's quiet withdrawal is a shadow message that something precious is slipping away. In every unspoken word, your partner sends a shadow message about what they're afraid to lose. Shadow messages remind us that love isn't always perfect. It's fragile and needs our gentle care. Every shadow message carries a longing for understanding, acceptance, and patience. A partner's shadow message is never about blame. It's about fear, hope, and yearning. When your partner's touch feels distant, their shadow message is often a plea for reassurance. Sometimes the heaviest burdens are carried in silence. Those are your partner's shadow messages. Shadow messages teach us that sometimes love is less about fixing and more about holding space. Your partner's shadow messages are an invitation to deepen your empathy and compassion. The shadows in your relationship are not threats, but signs calling for attention and healing. Love listens not only to words, but to the shadows that shape them. When your partner's eyes shadow messages are the silent poetry of love, longing, and loss. The language of shadow messages requires patience. Rushing will only silence the truth. Your partner's shadow messages are sacred. They reveal what's hidden beneath the surface. Behind every cold shoulder is a shadow message that needs warmth and understanding. The depth of your love is measured by how deeply you hear your partner's shadow messages. Sometimes the most powerful love is the love that sees and honors shadow messages. Shadow messages reveal the cracks in love's foundation and the chance to rebuild. Your partner's shadow messages are not walls, but fragile bridges waiting to be crossed. When your partner hides behind walls, their shadow message is a quiet call for compassion, not distance. Shadow messages often carry the echoes of past wounds, asking for healing in the present. Your partner's silence isn't emptiness, it's a shadow message filled with unspoken feelings. Love listens not only to spoken words but to the shadow messages beneath the surface. Sometimes the heaviest burdens are carried in silence. Those are your partner's shadow messages. A shadow message is love's way of saying, I'm here, even when I seem far away. Behind every cold glance lies a shadow message of pain, longing to be understood. Shadow messages reveal the complexity of love. A dance of presence and absence. When your partner pulls away, it's their shadow message asking for space to find themselves. Every hesitant touch carries a shadow message of hope and fear intertwined. Shadow messages are the quiet whispers at the heart, hoping you will hear and respond. Your partner's shadow message is an invitation to look deeper, beyond what is visible. Sometimes love's most powerful language is found in the shadow messages we almost overlook. Behind every unspoken word is a shadow message filled with love's fragile truth. When your partner's eyes avoid yours, their shadow message is a silent cry for connection. Shadow messages teach us that love requires patience to understand what's not said. Every shadow message is a hidden thread, weaving the story of your relationship. Your partner's shadow message is a mirror reflecting the parts of themselves they fear to show. Shadow messages reveal that love is not always comfortable, but it is always honest. When words fail, shadow messages become the language of the heart's deepest fears. Shadow messages remind us that vulnerability is the foundation of true intimacy. Your partner's shadow messages are not barriers, but bridges to deeper understanding. Every silence holds a shadow message waiting for the right moment to be heard. When your partner's anger surfaces, it's often a shadow message of unspoken pain. Shadow messages show us that love is a journey through light and darkness. Your partner's shadow message is a fragile hope wrapped in hesitation. Listening to shadow messages requires courage to face the imperfect truth. Behind every shadow message is a heart that longs to be seen and accepted. Shadow messages reveal the hidden layers of love, where real healing begins. Your partner's shadow message is a silent prayer for patience and understanding. Every shadow message is a step toward vulnerability and deeper connection. When love feels distant, shadow messages remind us it's still alive beneath the surface. Shadow messages are the language of love's hidden struggles and quiet resilience. Your partner's shadow message asks, will you stay when I'm at my most fragile? Behind every shadow message lies the possibility of forgiveness and renewal. Shadow messages invite us to love beyond words, with empathy and presence. When your partner withdraws, it's a shadow message asking for trust, not rejection. Every shadow message is a delicate balance between fear and hope. Your partner's shadow messages are sacred moments of truth waiting to be embraced. Listening to shadow messages teaches us the art of loving, imperfectly but deeply. Shadow messages remind us that love is a journey of continual rediscovery. Behind every shadow message is a story of courage, pain, and longing. Your partner's shadow message is a silent invitation to heal together. Shadow messages reveal that sometimes love is less about fixing and more about holding space. Every shadow message carries the promise of growth and deeper connection. When your partner's words falter, shadow messages speak the language of the heart. Shadow messages are the quiet courage it takes to love through uncertainty. Partner's shadow message is a fragile light guiding you through the darkness. Behind every shadow message is a hope for understanding and acceptance. Shadow messages teach us that love is patient, even when it's silent. Your partner's shadow message is an invitation to be their safe harbor. Every shadow message is a reminder that love is never simple, but always worth it. When your partner's gaze falters, it's a shadow message longing for reassurance. Shadow messages are the silent threads that hold broken hearts together. Your partner's shadow message is a call to love beyond the surface. Behind every shadow message is a heart waiting to be seen and loved fully. Shadow messages reveal the beauty and complexity of love's deepest layers. Listening to shadow messages is an act of profound love and courage. Your partner's shadow message is a silent promise to keep trying, even when it's hard.